You're listening to the one and only Dog Show. Your hosts, Troop Brinson and Smooch Moncrief.
Just two dudes talking Georgia football.
Welcome, dog fans, to the one and only Dog Show with Troop and Smooch.
Yes, sir.
And Smooch, that is the best intro in podcast history.
I have to agree, man.
And it's all us. It's all Dog Show.
That is all in-house,
so, yeah.
baby. Everything was done in a Dog Show member's home. Everything you hear there, including the dog barking.
The dog barking.
Yeah.
You had a dog barking on cue?
Yeah, my next door neighbor's got a big old. It's not a bulldog. Not many people know that. The bulldog barking is not a bulldog. It's just that he's got a black-nosed cur, and I thought that dog has a great bark. I need to record it for my show. So, a little behind the scenes. We may have to edit that out. I'm not sure we want the general public.
It's good. He's not going to charge you any royalties on that one.
Nah.
But welcome, dog fans, and Georgia on a one-game winning streak now as they took down the Kentucky Wildcats 35-14. And in the last few years, more so on the road, Smooch, this has been a slog.
Yeah.
When you play Mike Stoops and a very defensive-minded coach, it has been a game where Georgia just was happy to win, or Kirby Smart structured it where you were happy to win it. And but Georgia did jump out really quickly I think almost 25 plays in the first two drives for Georgia, and they took a 14-0 lead and obviously won 35-7. 35-14. Man, let me get it right. 35-14 was the final score. That the last few points did come against some backups late in that ball game. But yeah.
But I'll tell you, Troop, that they went and beat a team they were supposed to beat. And that it wasn't a slobber knocker. It was, and a matter of fact, the first two drives, they made it look very easy. It was just surgical and easy, and they went right down the field and scored 2 touchdowns. Now, I know the casual fan and a lot of our listeners would have liked that same rhythm to flow throughout and put up about 60, type of thing. But the game was never in question. They did exactly what they needed to do.
That's just not reasonable. And and we're going to talk about in this show what happened in this game and what maybe some people feel about, different factions feel about this Georgia team. And then we're going to talk about as well, who is Georgia?
Yeah.
What's our identity? What do we do well? What do we not do well? And what is the ceiling, the potential for this team this year? And we're gonna hit those points. I think that's a really that's a good talking point at this point in the season. 5 games in, I can't believe it.
I can't believe 5 games in.
The off season's so long. You're already 5 games in.
I know.
Is it 5 games?
Yeah.
Georgia's 4-1. 4-1. It just doesn't seem like it.
That's 6 weeks, 5 games. Yeah, absolutely. We're halfway through the season, man. Almost halfway through the season. That's hard to think about.
It used to be. You would have been halfway. Now there's so many more games. You might play 15 games this year.
That's a darn.
And that's what's been recently. But I feel like Georgia has kind of defined who they are. And now not that they can't get better, and they should get better. Other teams also will get better with more time. Georgia's so young, one of the youngest teams in the country, and that's a good thing. It's been a thing that they had to work around to start off the season with, and obviously you lost 1 game by 3 points. But the meat, there's still so much meat on the bone in terms of this season, which is exciting. Yeah. As a Georgia fan, we don't care about seeing us beating up Charlotte later this year. We want to see.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we want to see these games against Auburn on the road, Ole Miss at home, Texas. We want to see Georgia Tech. We want to see all those games, Mississippi State on the road again. Mm-hmm. We want to see those games. And those are games that we get up for. We have people come over to the house for it. We cook for them. We mix drinks, and it's an event. And so we are excited about that. And we have a team that is growing each week. Yeah. From the quarterback, not just from the quarterback perspective, but a lot of other stuff. Again, we're going to talk about that in our section of our segment, Who is Georgia? let's talk about the Kentucky game first, Smooch.
Yeah.
What did you feel in Georgia? Like I said, 35-14. How did you feel? Just the overall feeling of that game.
I felt as though I was hoping they would come out and start well. The worst thing you can do after a tough game that you lose is come out and start sluggish and slow, because then the doubt starts to creep in and you can really start doing some dumb things. A
3-and-out would not be good.
3-and-out would have been really, really painful. And they didn't. They came right out. And at some point, at times, it looked like 7-on-7 out there. They just methodically marched the ball right down, stuck it in the end zone. They looked good. You could tell Georgia, if you want a coaching staff that is determined to put up 60 points every time they can, you got the wrong coaching staff. That's not how this team is designed. And so once the game felt put away earlier than I was expecting, because it didn't really matter what the score said. You could just see the difference in the two teams. It did a lot. The sting of being in that stadium for the night of the Alabama game has not been erased or anything. It's not gone because we were there for it. It may linger forever, but that's how you answer. I would say the answer was exactly what you want to do on the other side.
It almost feels like, Smooch, and that with a young team, is in terms of the fans, and more so with the coaching staff. It's about fact finding. It's about finding who you are.
Yes.
And then when you kind of start to identify that, then what do you do from that? Because if you keep hammering your head against a wall on something that's not effective, then that's a problem. Right. But we've kind of started to see what this team's all about, and Georgia did. You nailed it. They took this game over early. When you have two long drives where you're converting and you're just moving the ball, and Kentucky's trying to we knew that coming in. Kentucky's going to try to keep you from hitting a big play. And if you're looking at anything other than the sky view, if you look watching this game, you might think, well, why don't we just throw it 70 yards down the field and score a long touchdown? We should beat this team. It's still SEC team.
Yeah,
Kentucky,
absolutely.
SEC players. Yeah. They're still a team that has some good talent. You just can't do that. And so you got to execute, because they're trying to keep you from scoring quick. And Georgia's like, okay, you don't want us to do that?
Death by 1,000 cuts. Exactly. And wasn't that, if memory serves correctly, Troop, that second drive, that was where Branch fair called it inside the 4, right? Isn't that right?
I'm like, he looked down, Smooch, he's like, oh
no.
And he looked at the coach and staff like, I'm going to get in trouble here.
You could see it, it's like catching your dog outside doing something he's not supposed to be doing. He hangs his head and puts his tail between his legs. He's like, there was no one that wanted to go back to that sideline less than Branch did after he fair caught that ball. That would have been a completely understandable punt. We get a first down or two, and the drive bogs down, we punt. I think it's very important. You're coming off a loss. You've just driven down and scored a touchdown. You get an unlucky break. You're inside the 5-yard line, and you still take it and methodically march it right down and put it in the end zone. That was the point. You want a point where I just said, okay, I feel a lot better now. It was that point. It was that drive. It was that answer. I said, okay, the team has what they need. How often can they consistently put that on the field?
Yes. So we're going to get to the point where people watching the game, intently watching this game and reviewing it, see totally different things. We're going to get there in just a moment. But that was a point where I was like, okay, Georgia, the first 2 drives, I think it was 25 plays in 2 drives. That's a lot. That's executing a lot.
Yeah.
And fans, because we're fans, we would be much more happy sometimes if we took like 3 plays and scored 14 points on 3 plays.
That'd be nice, yeah.
It doesn't prove a whole lot. It doesn't. Because against real competition and talent, that doesn't ever happen. You got to execute for long amounts of time. And so being able to do that, keep your team on the field, Gunnar Stockton, those wide receivers, the offensive line, who is taking some big losses in terms of their health.
Goodness.
We'll talk about that. To be able to do that on the first 2 drives lets you know that these guys were logged in and they were ready to get past the Alabama game, and they did. They moved it right along out. So a few players that I pointed out, Smooch, we can talk about it. I got 3 players that all offensive players.
Okay.
That we can look at that I felt again put their foot forward in this game. Chauncey Bowens again, because you just don't know. I kind of felt like after what happened against Alabama, and Nate Frazier came out after 4 carries. I guess it would be 8 snaps, but that Chauncey Bowens was that guy. But maybe the coaching staff would say, "Hold on. This is not. We didn't just start this whole season right now, and we're going." And Nate Frazier's back, and he was back. He had some really good carries, but Chauncey Bowens was still that guy. He was still RB1, and he showed you why. Really good game from Bowens, and he did the same things he did against Alabama, and you saw him do that. You saw again the reemergence of Dylan Bell, who has the past three seasons has been a player who could do it all. He could run the ball, catch the ball, he could throw the ball. Dylan Bell is a guy who had a sensational game against Kentucky, and I was glad to see that. Just to say, hey, buddy, we're gonna use you going forward. You're a playmaker. And then Oscar Delp, who caught a pass and looked like Brock Bowers when he turned it upfield and just ran by people.
That acceleration was surprising. You know, we've seen little spurts of athleticism from Delp, but for the most part, he came in labeled as, well, this guy's a really good blocker. He's learning the position. He's a good athlete or a plus athlete. When he took that ball and turned upfield, there wasn't a person watching the game that was a Georgia fan that didn't think, ready. I remember a tight end doing that, because he ran right by people. I think Delp is really, he seems to be taking a step forward every week, Troop. The ascension has not been as demonstrative as, say, Chauncey Bowens has, where he's just made it painfully obvious who RB1 was. But Oscar Delp just keeps moving up incrementally and becoming a weapon. And then, like you said, the Dylan Bell thing, we know what he's capable of. It's good to see his patience, his desire to win over rack up numbers, his ability just to put his head down and play hard, pay off like it did for him in this game with a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, and Coach Smart said today in the Monday presser, that this wide receiver group is together, and they're all about. Nobody's getting upset. Nobody's mad that they aren't getting enough targets. And I put something out there today on I think Twitter with Noah Thomas, because people are saying, "Where's Noah Thomas? How much money did we pay him to come in here?" You know, and why? And this is not a place to come if you're a transfer or wide receiver. To which I pointed out London Humphreys, Colby Young, Zach Branch, and there was no response. Strangely, no response to that, because it was ridiculous.
Right.
And but he got 30 snaps, so Noah Thomas was in the game. It just feels like whether it's coincidence or I don't know. But the receiver core is together, and they're okay with whatever, taking the back seat or whatever game gives them opportunities to make plays. And that's why I felt like Kirby Smart has said this a couple of weeks, that these players are culture players.
Yes.
He said Noah Thomas is a culture player. He's a culture winner.
And he'll get paid off. Right, he'll get paid off in the end. And you watch. What's going to happen is, here in the next couple of weeks, Noah Thomas will break through and get that big touchdown, and watch his team celebrate with him. There's not going to be anyone worried about they didn't get the bit. They missed out on those numbers. They pull for each other, and that's the reason this, especially for receiver, that's the most prima donna position on the field.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Took it from me.
Yeah, I stole it. But it is. It's the most me-first position that there is. And so for those players to be pulling for each other, that's good. And we can talk about what we like to see and what we don't like to see. I want to see Noah Thomas open deep. I can tell you, Troop, that they called a shot, at least one to him in this game, right? And the blocking broke down. We had to check it.
Every game.
Yeah.
He said shot plays called for him every game, and one thing or another has either with some of those plays, but you don't recognize it when there's a pass interference call on it. You don't say, okay, well, Noah Thomas had a chance to make a big catch. You don't think of that. You're like, okay, first down, Georgia, move on. But that happens, and that's just football. And he's been that guy so far. But I think you're right. If he's getting 30 snaps, he's earned it. And eventually it will pay off for him. We'll look at some of the snap count, Smooch. Is there any position group that is curious to you? I will say Nate Frazier got 15 snaps. Chauncey Bowens got 35 snaps. And then, of course, McCray with 9. McCray's that specialty player. I like him.
He's fun.
He to me, McCray is one of those things in terms of a team that rounds you out and says, in terms of your running games, like, okay, this is a specialist.
Yeah.
He's going to get you the tough yards when you need it. And you don't have to guess, okay, can Chauncey Bowens get this, or can Nate Frazier get this, or can Peanut? No, that's Josh McCray. I like his role on this team. And just looking at, let me see, the wide receivers were pretty. I did see Jeremy Bell got a couple of snaps later in the game. Even Landon Rolden got a couple of snaps, or 5 snaps in this game as wide receiver. Sokovia got 10 snaps. I guess looking at tight ends, Smooch, I think that's an interesting position right now.
I was going to ask you about tight ends because we saw Elias get some early attention that we haven't seen so far.
So Kirby will tell you earn your snaps in the game from practice.
Yeah.
Not saying Jaden Riddell hasn't been spectacular. He's been done a good job. But this last game, you saw Elias Williams get the 3rd most snaps behind Oscar and Lawson Lucky.
That's really interesting.
He was at 15 snaps, and then Riddell was at 14, Colton Heinrich at 5. But that tells you that, and I heard Kirby say in the presser that it's abnormal to get a tight end or receiver that is that size, that big of a dude who is so willing to block, so willing to learn to block. Because he's thinking, I got an advantage.
You can see it with the ball in his hands. He's a freak. He's an absolute freak.
But he's willing to block, and it's a prerequisite at tight end because there's a lot of plays you're not going to get the ball, and you're moving in motion. You're accentuating the running game. You have to do that,
right?
And and so he earned his time, and he's a freshman. Another freshman is the ongoing theme with this team. A lot of young players.
That's so true.
We did see on the offensive line, 10 plays in, Monroe Freeling, or 11 plays in.
Make it stop.
And we said this. We mentioned this like last week. What would be the worst case scenario? We're trying to figure out a right side. Watch a left tackle get injured, and what are we going to do then?
Yeah, we're not going to answer what's the worst case scenario question this week, by the way, guys. We're going to stay away from it.
That was the question, though.
I know. I remember.
Don't let that happen.
Don't let it happen.
Because we are passionate together on the right side. We got 2 freshmen on the right side. Who's going to fill on the left side? Fortunately, you got Bo Hughley, who Kirby Smart loves, and said that dude just loves football. He loves practice. He loves everything about Georgia. Jump right in. And no, he's not the best. He gets pushed in the backfield sometimes.
Yeah.
But he knows his job. He's passionate about his job and getting it done right.
He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to hurt you, and that's our swing tackle. You know, that's a great thing to have. He's not going to hurt you. Is he going to make you exponentially better when he steps on the field? Maybe not, but he's going to certainly stop the bleeding. And for someone that was upset earlier this year about the playing time he was getting, he's got all he wants now. So
yeah, and he was not so. He had no idea he was going to get any snaps today other than garbage time. Yeah. 50.
Wow. So he was probably lighter than he was before the game afterwards then, right?
Yeah. And so the word we did get, we always think the worst. Monroe Freeling with a sprained ankle was like, he's going to be out 6 weeks or more.
Here it comes.
And so take it for what it's worth, Smooch. Kirby said, not as bad as we thought. No surgery. He possibly could play this week, but maybe next week. And it's like he was kind of hedging on that part, and that feels much better than we just don't know. We got to wait and see. Yeah. So he's not as bad as we thought. Not a high ankle sprain. It's going to require tightrope. Don't say that word.
No.
Again.
I did hear it said on another show. I believe I told you about it. I heard the tightrope word used, but hopefully, Kirby does speak in what's known as Kirbinese.
Yes.
Sometimes when it comes to injuries, but the idea that Monroe, you and I have both had a lot of bad ankles between us. So,
Oh, my goodness, please.
Sometimes it's just for the swelling to go down, takes a few weeks. But listen, if you're listening, Monroe or anybody affiliated with Monroe, if you need anyone to donate any ankle tendons, I am more than willing to step up. Yeah, we need you on the field this week at Auburn. Yeah.
I don't know if we have them.
I don't know if there's any left, but
looking at more to snap count, and I look at more defense because that's so intriguing to me. These two top defenders, and we did see Jordan Hall go down, but he's okay. Looks like he's okay. He's had a great year, believe it or not. He has done a great job of being that run stopper and just clogging up the middle. But Elijah Griffin and Kristen Miller were both 26 snaps apiece. We've seen those guys in a lot. Mm-hmm. And those are the guys when we talk about more who is Georgia, that we were anticipating would be getting more penetration into the backfield. It hasn't happened yet.
Right.
But still effective in stopping the run and doing their job. JJ, listen, it sounds crazy. Another freshman, JJ Han, I say Han, he's German. JJ Han, 18 snaps.
Wow.
Number three
on the interior. Wow, that's amazing.
Snaps.
That's amazing. Who had that in their pool? Yeah.
In their bingo?
Horton.
Nope, not me.
Yeah.
Josh Horton, a transfer in 17. Ugboku. We saw him splash and get in the backfield. 16. Justin Green, another player. I was like, he was a second-year player. I think he redshirted last year, but I was like, oh, where is Justin Green? A 5-star. Big-time player.
Yeah.
It takes a while sometimes. It's okay, folks. It's rare. I don't care what your stars are that you just show up on campus and start dominating. It's not at Georgia. And so Justin Green, 14 snaps, Ajonye, 14, McLeod, 13, Jordan Thomas, another player we're looking at, 12, and Jordan Hall again came out after 10 snaps. Outside linebacker.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a fan, I think an outside linebacker as defensive end.
Yeah.
But yeah, because they are right on the line of scrimmage a lot of times. Right. And Gabe Harris and Quinn Johnson are both those guys. They are not rushing. They're not. They're not chaos creating outside line. They do a great job. Listen, in terms of the run, those guys seal it up.
They set the edge well. They
do.
They're just not. They're not electrifying game changers from the edge.
But if you didn't have those guys, you wouldn't care about. You would not care about rushing the quarterback if you couldn't set the edge and stop the running game. You would not care.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what's happening? We're giving up all these. We've done this before.
You know, the reason they throw the ball so much against Georgia is because they have to. And that's due in part to the way your defense is playing. They're stopping the run well. We've got to find someone to penetrate. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
So we see those guys on the field a lot. We know who they are. We know the numbers, 0 and 33. So the next 4 players are players that are different. Okay. That had got a lot of time Saturday night. Chris Jones, another he's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Chris Jones came on with Chris Cole because we were able to do Chris's, both top 10. Both top 10 in the country. Linebackers. Chris Jones been kind of moved towards the edge. He did some good things. A true freshman, Smooch, Darren and Kenningbon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Eckingbon. I think
Eckingbon. Maybe that sounds better.
Yeah, that's it.
13 snaps.
Okay.
As a true freshman, they're trying to find that pass rusher who is not like Chris Cole.
Right.
Or Chris Jones. Yeah. And then another true freshman, Isaiah Gibson.
Okay.
11 snaps. In the second half. I'm sure they're all in the second half. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they were too, but that's valuable. I mean, that is Kirby taking the opportunity to go through his depth and see what pops, you know.
Show me.
Looking at it this way, you could not tell from practice if Frazier or Bowens were going to be the better running back. You find that out in the heat of battle in the game. And so where he may have an idea what he's got in these young pass rushers, these young linebackers, DNs, you put them out there and see who pops, who jumps off the tape. And I feel confident they're going to find them. They just haven't yet.
Yeah, show me what you got. Let's see. It's your turn. And keep them engaged in the game. The last name I want to mention is also glaring for a different reason, because we just said that a Kenningbon with 13, Isaiah Gibson, both freshmen, 11, Elo Madozi, 5 snaps.
Now that's troubling. Yeah.
Because that was a guy that his only role this year was to get
Jalen Walker, right? Wasn't he going to be just a Jalen Walker plug and play,
Yeah.
and then away we went?
Hopefully so. But it's not been that case so far. And so, yeah, whatever that means, he's been, it's 5 snaps. That's all it is. He got in there. And so there's something that he's not showing them they need to see. Smooch, looking at the last little spot here before we move on to the next segment, which will also revolve around a position group. Defensive backs, I do want to say again, we know Dalen Everett with 42 snaps. And then you got, again, DeMello Jones and Ellis Robinson. It's pretty much splitting snaps. They both were on the field.
Baptism by
game.
fire right there. That's what's happening right now. That is baptism by fire for those two.
So I love seeing that. And it's like we were talking about it before that it looks like Ellis is more of the technician. And DeMello is not lacking technical aspect of it, but he is more the physical guy. I saw one play where people keep talking about this play. It was a screen to the right, to the one side of the field, and he had 2 blockers there for him, and he just impact and then hit the outside shoulder and stretched it out for some help to come to the inside, which was perfect technique.
Right.
It was technique and physicality to be able to deal with that.
And with zero hesitation. What happens with these young DBs is they hesitate for just a second and it's too late. Zero hesitation. He took on the block and he collapsed it just like you're supposed to do and force it inside to the other guys.
And then if you'll watch that play out further, he took because he had 2 players on him, so he lost a little bit of balance there trying to battle 2 players. And so they initially, once the help got there was one wide receiver that kind of pushed him backwards. And he pulled what I would call a George Pickens. And he took that receiver and used his momentum and just slammed him on the ground and just stared at him. I was like, don't do that.
I like that.
And I was like, if there was a brick wall there, his face would have been in it.
We need a little more George Pickens on this defense. I know that sounds weird to say, but we do.
We do. We got people who say we don't like that. Me and Smooch like it.
We like it. Yeah.
The other freshman DB that showed a little bit, he showed 2 things. He showed that he's aggressive, and he showed some mistakes, but I like what I saw. We saw it in the spring game. That's Dominic Kelly. He had like a pick or 2 in the spring game.
2?
He was still flashing. Even though he had a couple of penalties, he was still flashing in this game against Kentucky.
I thought I don't remember if I texted you or not, but I was like, that's the guy I was watching at the spring game. I came back
24.
talking about. Yeah, he just has a nose for the ball. He always how many snaps was he out there? Troop, did you say?
Yeah, I got him. He's got 23.
23
or 20. Yeah.
And I would say at least 10 of those, he was wherever the ball ended up. He's just around the ball. Those types of things are really promising. I'd be very interested to see what he carves out for himself because we've been impressed since the preseason because he came out of nowhere. We knew his name. I couldn't have picked him out of a lineup or anything.
We had no idea.
Yeah, none.
We're watching the spring game and he's making plays and we're like he's like in phase and I'm like, who is this guy? Look, we had to pull up the roster. Freshman DB.
Yeah,
Dominic Kelly. Know that name.
Yeah, I would
He's
say
a physical
remember that
player.
Name.
Yeah, know him. And so these guys do show you what they got when they get on the field. Smooch. So I want to move on and talk still on this game. And as football watchers, we feel like we're football knowers in a certain aspect. There's a lot of people who are football knowers better than us.
Sure.
And we're friends with them. But there was one play in that Kentucky game that kind of signified what are you seeing and what's actually happened that I want to call out here. And it was the touchdown that wasn't a garbage time touchdown to the tight end. It was a tight end pass where I was like, immediately when it happened, I was like, ooh, I backed it up, looked at it. And I texted our buddy Coach Hayes. I was like, he's at the game. He said, I'm on the 45-yard line.
Okay.
And he said, a little bit elevated. He was looking down at it. I said, what happened? Who busted? And he was like, I don't know. I said, was that our DB? Was that Aguero or was that a linebacker? Because it was it was a people in motion. and I couldn't quite pick out who was at fault there. I needed somebody with some expertise. So Coach said, I'll get back with you. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He did get back to me. And we're going to play this right here. And this is what Coach had to say about this play and who was at fault here. Because we want to know. We want to know what the assignments are and how Georgia's playing it. And that's what Coach said.
This is the touchdown that Kentucky scored. And honestly, this is a miscommunication between Janelle and CJ, or Janelle, CJ, and KJ really being in kind of a bad spot where he's at as well, because there's no doubt when we pre-snap alignment, we're in cover one. Okay, so that means everybody's manned up except for KJ Bolden in zone. One of the two backs in the middle right there, either Raylan or CJ, has got the F back coming across. But Raylan is on a late fire right here. When Janelle gets the inside yip motion right here, he passes him off to the linebacker. So I don't know if that's something they do. I know that I saw that against Alabama where Dalen Everett passed off his inside shallow to a linebacker and took the guy coming out of the backfield. So basically it's like, don't let the crisscross take care of you. We're going to pass my guy off on the inside to a linebacker to cover, and I'm going to take the guy showing outside right here. But there's definitely a misfire on this.
And so I understood what he was saying, because I also saw his film last week where he showed a very similar play against Alabama.
Yes.
Where they passed that play off. The DB passed it off to the linebacker, and they almost got in a little confusion, but they did understand what they were supposed to do. That didn't happen this time. So I thought maybe he's right. Mm-hmm. But another guy we're friends with and we follow, Brooks Austin, had another take about this exact same play. We're going to play this right here.
Man-to-man, right? Oh, yeah, they're man-to-man, okay? So especially with this motioning right here from Jonell, he's got that tight end. So when this tight end pretends to block and then runs this little shallow cross right here off the run action, hey, that's on number 8. Get your eyes in the right spot, okay? Don't worry about run fits. We got somebody else to fit the run when you're in man-to-man coverage, okay? Especially when your tight end goes away. It's far more important that we don't lose eye discipline on the tights, especially against Kentucky.
All right, so the two shall do battle. Who's right, Troop Brinson?
But that accentuates that we're not in the we're not in the huddle. We're not in the defensive meeting room. We don't know, but these guys have. They kind of know what they're watching more than we do, and we kind of lean on those fellas.
Sure.
And I will say with Brooks, I love what he does. And most of the time, I go with Brooks in a lot of things. If Coach doesn't comment on it directly, because Brooks just pours over film. He pours over film too, and I like a lot of what he says. But another question with what Brooks has been saying this year, Smooch, and me and you're talking about this, fans are talking about this. We got a third-year linebacker right now. We're trying to decide if he's taking the step to be that leader and he's playing the type of ball we need him to play, or he's still where he was a couple years ago. That's C.J. Allen.
Yes. The opinions are all over the map on C.J. Allen. If you look at the message boards, you look at fan pages, and you look at the podcasts even, as we're about to see, there is no consensus on C.J. Allen, Troop Brinson.
And he's a third-year player. That's when because even when he was a high school player, I was reading blurbs about him saying that this is that dude. He is mentally in terms of a leadership role, he is that fella. He's going to come in. He's going to be the next great at Georgia, because we do create great players at that inside linebacker position. It has seemed to me, just watching games, not breaking down film, that's my job, he seemed to me a step slow on a lot of plays. He gets caught in traffic. He doesn't get out to screens where he needs to be. And I think we feel the same way. And then talking to Coach as well, Coach Hayes kind of feels that he's not taking that step to be an iconic Georgia linebacker, because we've been spoiled. Yeah. We've been spoiled with Roquan
and
Nakobe.
Yeah.
And he's not there. He's not there. He's a step short of where we think he should be. He's taking a beeline and making those tackles. But we say that. And then Brooks Austin also says he's having a spectacular season. The last 2 games, Brooks has come out and said, player of the game. He's where he
Right.
needs to be. He's calling the plays. He's where he needs to be every time. His awareness of what's going on is next level. So Brooks sees it one way. We kind of not too negative. We see it in a little different fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually posed this question to Coach today. I was like, so we watched Justin Williams, second-year player, 5-star player out of Texas, Justin, and he is that dude. He is fast.
Yes,
he is an aggressive tackler, knows where he's supposed to be. Does he need more snaps? Does he need to take, I didn't say this, but does he need to take C.J. Allen snaps somewhat?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just feel like we got a couple of guys on because we're so deep at linebacker, Smooch. We know who Raylan Wilson and C.J. Allen is. We got a couple of guys in Chris Cole, and Justin Williams who are just knocking on the door, wanting more snaps because they're that good.
Yeah, here's where I come down on, say, the Brooks Austin side of things. If C.J. Allen were obviously the best defender on the field for 2 consecutive SEC games, I think casual fans would know it. The reason Roquan and Nakobe go by their first name and C.J. Allen goes by C.J. Allen? You say Roquan, you say Nakobe, everybody knows who that is, because when they got to this point in their career, there was no doubt. Now, you can say, well, you're misunderstanding the way C.J. Allen brings value to the team. That's fine. But my point is your Georgia greats at that spot, they make it obvious. You don't have to debate it. You don't have to break down film to see it. You just say, oh, that's the best player on the field, game in and game out. We just have, where I come down on it personally, is we just haven't seen that yet out of CJ, where we're like, oh, this is his defense. He's running the show. Any touchdown goes through CJ Allen. We're not there yet.
Yeah. The great thing about this conversation, and I love the debate and the conversation, is we're only 5 games in. And so there's so many more games to define yourself. I feel like athletically, Justin Williams is that 1-1 top linebacker. I feel like CJ is very good athletically, and cerebrally, I think he is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think athletically he's a half a not even a step, half a step short, and a lot of times that matters on the outside. Now, he's struggled sometimes in coverage. He's gotten lost a few times. So, but that's just the nature of the game. You're not going to play perfect, so I'm not going to hold that against him. But when we're talking about the identity of this team, I think that's going to come into play. Yeah. I really want to talk about that, Smooch. On this, it's a big segment, which is what we're basing the show on, because we were going to beat Kentucky no matter what, right? We had to talk about it, though. Who is Georgia? We're 5 games in. Do we know who Georgia is? I think the coaching staff should have a better idea who Georgia is, but as a fan base and guys who talk about it daily, who is Georgia? Let's kind of put that out there. What do we think about this team right now? What do you think their strengths are, their weaknesses are? And where do we have to go? With that knowledge, can we still get to where we want to go?
That's a great question. So
that's a good question.
That's a great question. I can tell you what we are now. We're a run-first team that plays hard and beats the soul out of people. It is the epitome of taking someone out into deep water and letting them drown. That is the way Georgia's playing. Georgia can run the ball when you know Georgia's going to run the ball. That's something that we all welcome. We haven't seen it a lot in recent years. We're seeing it now. It is awesome to see. Now, I do not see what so many people that populate our messages and comments see, that we've got to have a new coordinator because we're not scoring enough here, we're not doing enough there. Listen, guys, every ingredient is present with this team to make a deep run in the playoffs, except for pass rush. Every other element's there. I don't see glaring weaknesses in the secondary. I see things that can be fixed. I think run defense looks good. I think the receivers look good. I think all of those things look good and as though they're improving. I just don't see an elite pass rush. And I think if the pass rush was elite, we would have different conversations about every other criticism we have about the Dogs. I think so much of it comes down to, you know how well your secondary plays when the quarterback has to let go of the ball in 1.9 seconds?
Please.
They play really well, right?
Dang, Smooch. You just boiled it right down.
That's it,
to
man.
the fans' perspective is that because we're as fans, we're going to move on. We're going to move right past what we do well.
Yeah.
Move right on. Good on. We got this. And what doesn't look right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is the pass rush.
Yeah.
You know, we think that Gunner, he can be a championship quarterback. He does a lot well, enough well that if you had certain things,
he does enough. Yep.
You would, and he's going to get better. He's going to get better at it because
Yep.
he's that kind of dude. He's not a guy who's worried about Lamborghinis right now or girlfriends. He's not. He's all about Georgia football.
Preach it, brother.
So he is 100% locked in to be the best that he can be right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, man, you nailed it. But before I get there, I want to get to the pass rush and what we can do about it. I do want to say as an identity, what this team is. This team is a Gunner Stockton team.
Yes.
I don't care if it's offense, defense. This is a Gunner Stockton team. Well, and I said this last year. If Carson Beck gets hurt, Gunner Stockton has to come in. It's a totally different team than what you're running with.
You
Carson
could not
Beck.
have been
It
more
is.
right about that. Yeah, you were spot on. I remember you saying it. You said it a number of occasions.
And you have the offseason to get that together. A Gunner Stockton-led team was never going to be a team that scored 45 points a game. We predicted last year if Carson Beck and all the factors happened, we might score 45 points a game. It didn't happen for a multitude of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a team that was capable with everything working together of scoring big-time points. This team was always a Gunner Stockton team. It's going to be a physical team that runs the ball. And if you're going to play complementary football, if you run the ball, you're going to stop the run because you got to control the ball game. And that, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
And so you set that standard of we're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, we're going to block for the run. We bring in two analysts in here to help us with our run game.
Yes.
And we're going to run the ball and we're going to stop it. And after that, we will decide what's next. But Georgia has done that in the first third of the season. They have done that. If you want to play 15 games and win a championship, this is only the first third.
That's a good point.
So they have established that, and they're trying to accentuate that. And we've had explosive plays. I think last year Georgia had 10 explosive plays running the ball. 10.
Wow.
Already 8 this year. Already 8.
Yeah.
And so they've done that and they've stopped it. And then you got to figure out what you can, if that's just who you are and that's all you can do. I mean, that's just what it is. And you got to play better in other areas.
Yeah. You can win a championship with exactly what you just described. I mean, that can win.
Yeah. It's rare that you win a championship without just a generational type defense when you're just a running team.
Yeah.
But I think Georgia could have done it a couple years ago, but they had. I will say that with Stetson in that first championship, they ran the ball a lot, and he was throwing for 200 yards a game, so he wasn't setting the world on fire in terms of passing the ball. But sometimes our memories, aren't as adept as we needed to be.
No.
But okay, so Georgia with Gunner and running the game is what they do best.
Right.
Now, Smooch just nailed it. And defensively, I think we obviously stopped the run. We got some young defenders in the back side of the DBs, and they're getting better, and they will get better.
They are getting
better. And I think that they're okay with that. There's enough people out there who can play ball, but you make it so much easier for them if you can rush the passer.
That's so true.
But what we have right now is defenders who can set the edge, who can stop the run. And so like Gabe Harris and Quinn Johnson, I think they're great at what they do. Yeah. And as long as you as a coaching staff know this is what I got, and you're really counting on Jordan Hall, Christian Miller, and a freshman, Elijah Griffin.
Yeah.
To win one-on-one battles. Yeah. And they just haven't done it yet. And so if they haven't done it yet, maybe they won't do it. but they're doing a great job. And you got Xavier McLeod coming in there, and Boko, and other players that do a great job of clogging things up. But if you can't create a pass rush from your front four, are you okay with that? Can you still win? Okay, so you got two choices, Smooch. You can be okay with that and say we can still play winning football. We just got to do it different on the back end and with the linebackers. Or you can say we're going to create some exotic blitzes and still get pressure.
Yeah. Well, I understand both approaches. I like approaches that force mistakes rather than wait for mistakes. I think that that might not be by the numbers or analytics the best way, but what I enjoy,
it's more entertaining.
Yeah, what resonates with me more is we're coming, and if you can get the ball out, find the open receiver, because we're going to leave somebody open to come blitz you. If you can find him, more power to you. But you're going to know your jersey's going to be really dirty at the end of this game, and you're going to be really bruised up when it's over. And count on that to make a man make a mistake with the football. I like that. I think that what we're seeing is Kirby's teaching a bunch of man-to-man type of kids that were just playing nothing but man-to-man in high school how to play zone at the same time as having a minimal pass rush. And what happens if you have any time in a zone defense, all you do is find the places where people aren't and stop. It's not rocket surgery.
Time is the clock is the issue there, right?
The clock's the issue, right? And so you realize if one of these guys, if Griffin learns to collapse the pocket anywhere near resembling what Jalen Carter did and can do it once or twice a drive, these drives change. The whole complexion changes. How the quarterback lets the ball go, how your edge rushers get to the quarterback because there is no pocket. We have got to flatten the middle of that pocket. That's what we've got to find.
Man, dude, he's a freshman. He's in there a lot. He is. Yeah. He and Christian Miller are the mainstays. They're the dudes in there right now. And I think that bodes well for the future. In terms of, I think that Griffin is that kind of player eventually. But again, what is the identity of this Georgia team? And if you don't know it by now, if you're thinking you're going to reinvent this team going in the last 2/3 of the season, hopefully, then that is it's a stretch.
Right.
So in terms of what I think about this team, and if we're going to complement what the defense line does well already. They do a great. I mean, it's no small thing. And Coach Smart is happy that they stop the run and they set the edge and they do this thing. Don't give easy yardage. He loves that part. But if you are looking at what this roster looks like and how you can complement that, it's the linebackers. Our linebackers. There's no team in the country that has the linebacker talent that we have. Everybody would trade what we have at linebacker.
100%.
And so I think they've been trying to find those guys, whether it be Cole or Justin Williams or Chris Jones. It's time. The water's getting deep.
Yeah.
We got Auburn on the road.
It's getting deeper this weekend. Yeah.
It's getting deep. Yeah. And so I think as we're talking about it, I'm positive that the coaching staff is kind of feeling like they know what this team is about and what they are now, because they didn't know before. And I know Coach Smart loves that aspect of finding out what each team is about, what each season is about, and how to incorporate your personnel to make it the best that they can be. I really think that if you're going to if it's important for you to create some kind of havoc in the backfield and get quarterbacks in trouble, it's not going to be from the defensive line. It's from the line of scrimmage. It's going to be from your linebackers and sometimes from your safeties and your cornerbacks. And there's a risk. There is a sacrifice for that.
Sure.
And you can't do it consistently. It's got to be the right time, right situation, right time. They can do it, but you can't leave these. The hard part is we got young guys in the defensive backfield. You can't give them 5 seconds. Nobody.
No.
Nobody's covering for 5-6 seconds.
That's exactly right. Somebody's going to be wide open if you give a quarterback
and so if you just want
over
stats,
4 seconds. Yeah.
If you just want stats, you say, oh, my DBs need to cover longer. we'll get a coverage sack. That doesn't matter. Coverage sacks are good, but they don't really show you what you want to show, because you want to protect your back end.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a identity, Georgia's should know now that they can't win one-on-one battles up front, and they're going to create problems with their linebackers because they have so many guys.
Yeah.
And protect their DBs. But I do think that at this point in the season, their DBs have got much better. So credit to them for getting DeMello out there, Ellis Robinson out there. Daniel Harris looks like he's relegated to play special teams right now.
Looks like it,
but
doesn't it?
Dominic Kelly, get some of those guys out there, and they've had getting some time to get better.
Agreed.
And so they work together. It's complementary in terms of how much time you give them and how much time to give you offensively. We just covered that. I think we mentioned it. You know what you are.
Yeah.
With Gunnar Stockton.
It's Gunnar Stockton's team.
If
it's
a
they're going to win,
run-heavy team, Smooch.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But you really need to find a way to convince because they said on his play action passes, he throws even shorter than his regular passes.
I noticed that exact same thing. Yeah.
It's like 6 yards per target to 5.3. That was from Brent Rollins. And that can't happen. Your play action is trying to take advantage and some consequences for those guys biting on the run. It's got to be downfield. I don't care if it's complete. It's got to be downfield, because you got to put them in conflict.
There's a line in Talladega Nights where the owner's rich, protected son is going, "Daddy, he's just nothing but a dumb cowboy." And the guy goes, "Son, I wish you had a little more dumb cowboy in you." And that, Gunnar, all the swagger, all the leadership, all the confidence that he has, and rightfully so, I want to see that have that kind of faith in Colby or Noah or London. Look, if they're one-on-one, they're getting the ball. I'm going to throw it as far as I can. Go down there and make them at least think about it. But you keep feeling like they're just so close to figuring out, we get deep here. Sooner or later, we'll stretch this. You imagine how good the running game would be if they could hit a few of those. But when you're not even throwing them, like we saw in a second half a couple of weeks ago, when you're not throwing them anymore, it changes everything. So it is Gunnar Stockton's team. I mean, this team is designed to – yeah.
How do you get them out of zone? Because those one-on-one shot plays don't happen if they're in zone. How do you get them out of zone, Smooch?
How do you get them out of zone? Well, you start out by whatever they come out in, if you can run the ball, they're going to have to cheat up safeties, which means you can't play safeties in a deep zone. So if you can run the ball consistently, at some point they have to give up safeties to the run, which removes them from a zone package for the most part, anything deep. And so as they start to walk those guys up to the line to be extra linebackers, then you take your shot play. And if they're biting on the run, even if they're in a zone, they make their first break as though they're covering Chauncey or Nate on that run. And that one step isolates Noah or Humphreys in one-on-one, and then it's just a matter of stepping up in the pocket instead of stepping out of the pocket, stepping up in the pocket and turning it loose downfield and trusting your guy.
That's the main thing, and I'm not like a ball knower in terms of some of those things with the offense, and that's why we lean on Coach Hayes a lot of times, is that we, as a fan, we want it. I fight this all the time. People say, "Why don't we?" Mike Bobo won't throw the ball deep.
Mike Bobo hadn't been the quarterback in a while, guys.
Okay. So if they got a zone, you're not throwing the ball into double coverage or triple. You're not.
Yeah.
And they're asking you, they're begging you. The defense is begging you to throw the ball underneath or to read where those open spots are, and that's been a thing for Gunnar. He hasn't been as comfortable with that, so he checks down.
Yeah.
But his checkdowns are with really good players. I mean, he's got some guys who can make big plays on the checkdowns. If you got Zach Branch, you're throwing a checkdown. He's had 2 touchdowns on checkdowns this year.
Well, his most impressive play of the season was it was just a little first down where he took one of those screens and made about 6 guys miss and turned what should have been a 1 yard into a 9-yard gain. Yeah, fantastic stuff.
I'm not throwing it into conflict either, but that's the learning curve from him. And Kirby has talked about it being less risk averse, but in zone, the defense will dictate where you throw it.
Yeah.
But you still got places to throw it. You do.
You can
But
eliminate any defense can eliminate one thing. Like you can say, we're not going to get beat deep. And you can take that out of the game. And then what you see is Colby Young average 15 yards a carry. Because, you're right. You're not getting beat deep. But what's happening is we're gashing you with the run play. So a defense can make a conscious, concerted effort to remove one thing and do it. And that's what we keep trying to slow people down. Why don't we rush 8, and just get some pressure on the quarterback? Because you can stop one thing. We could sack the quarterback 6 times a game and still give up 400 yards passing, right? Those can both happen at the same time.
I just wish most fans that I talk to would know that you can't just throw it up. And you can't just go deep. Why don't we throw it deep? The defense knows that Gunner is a running quarterback with a running game, and they're going to play zone until you make them get out of it. And he's getting better at that. Kirby even said that. He's getting better at it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get out of that because they want to make you drive 10, 12 plays because that comes – you make mistakes then. You get behind the sticks at some point. You have a penalty. You kick field goals. That's a great strategy. For like a player like Gunner Stockton.
Yeah, and that's a real subtlety that elite quarterbacks add in. If you watch Tua and Bryce, both of those guys, when they entered their last year, they'd drop back, they'd read zone, and they'd give just the tiniest pump fake to a post or a dig over the middle and make that outside safety bite just a touch. And then he's got his receiver one-on-one up the side. Those little things, those nuances, Patrick Mahomes makes an entire living doing that, right? Those tiny little things buy you just that extra. And those are things Gunner's learning on the job this year. But to your point earlier, he's getting better every week. So
that's the thing, Smooch, I wish that Gunner would use in his game more than anything, really, was to leave the pocket, maybe either outside or inside, and look at the DBs covering that one player who is like mirroring his rollout.
Right.
It's usually one receiver who is like rolling right with you, and Gunner's tucking it. But you put that DB in conflict or linebacker in conflict, use it. Yeah, they think you're coming. They think you're running. Use it. Throw it to them. Those are the guys that make the plays. Get the ball to them. Those are guys who can turn. You might get 3 or 4 yards as a quarterback. Get it to those guys. Let them get 12 yards. Yeah. And I wish he would use that more. Sometimes something opens up even deeper. Yeah. That's the next level for him to get comfortable with that. Not just go. We like north-south, but someone's a quarterback. Your job is to throw the ball. So start out north-south in the pocket and then get a little toward the sideline and find a receiver, put them in conflict, make them pay for that. That's what's happened to us. Hey, that's that's the kryptonite for Georgia in the past is a quarterback who does that to us.
Yep. Yeah, eyes downfield, make the guy make a decision. Whatever decision he makes, it's the wrong one. That's the key. And you do have to actually say for Gunner too, though he has not developed as much as you'd like in that way, he's also getting hit in the mouth a lot. And so it's a little hard to take your eye off the pass rush to while you're rolling out. Well, sometimes the pass rush is not even being blocked. And so there is Gunner's in conflict, do I put my eyes downfield and get blindsided, or do I put my eyes downfield trusting everybody behind me's done their job and then put my eyes downfield and go? So there's 2 or 3 different elements going on, but all I look for and all I wanted to see in the Kentucky game and all I want to see in the Auburn game is let's just get incrementally better at that this week, and then let's go to the next week.
Oh. The water is getting deep, Smooch. It's
deep.
I love it. As a fan, the games all matter, and we're like on edge. We talked about this the last couple of years. It sits a certain way as a fan when you don't feel anxious about a game like for 2/3 of the year. You're waiting till the playoffs. I feel a lot of anxiety.
I'm anxious about Auburn, man. It's been keeping me up. Yeah.
I love it, though.
I do. It's so good.
I think Auburn presents some problems. And I like to see what Georgia's answers are and see them grow through that. I think Georgia's going to win this game, but it's not going to be an easy win. No. It's going to be one of those things where you keep chopping.
Yes.
Georgia's built to keep chopping. and you win in the second half, fourth quarter. And that's hard to do on the road in a place like Auburn. I've been there a couple of times, and it's not pleasant.
No.
But I like it, and I'm going to be so locked into this game. I think we're going to come back in a couple of days, 3 days, maybe Thursday.
Yeah, we're going to drop a countdown to kickoff on Thursday for the Auburn game. They deserves its own show. Yeah.
We talk about the oldest rivalry in the South.
Yeah.
And Jackson Arnold and what those guys, they got a great wide receiver core as well with Cam. And we're going to talk about all of that and what Georgia needs to do. I'm right now on a Monday. I'm a little anxious about that ball game, and especially where Auburn is, because they need that win. They need it, and Hugh Freeze needs it.
It's their season.
You need a win. Alabama, guess what? Alabama needed that win against Georgia in Athens, and they played like it.
They did.
And so it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a battle.
I can't wait for it because that's SEC football, and we love it.
It's SEC football at its best, and I cannot wait for it. I can't wait to do the show. I can't wait to tell you what I think of Cam Coleman as a receiver. I think he's as good as there is.
Yeah, he is.
Bar none. He does not have to be open. Like Larry Fitzgerald with more speed, he does not have to be open for you to throw him the ball. He'll make the catch. He is an absolute stud. I cannot wait to see Mello line up on him, and I can't wait to talk about it on Thursday.
Yes, because they're going to get better and better. I agree with you. And it's the development of some of those players who are coming into their own right now, who, it's going to be a whole different narrative in a couple of weeks, and we can't wait for it. And I feel it right now. I'm getting worked up talking about it on Monday.
I love it. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be worked up on a Monday.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. For Smooch Moncrief, this is True Brinson saying so long. We'll see you soon, dog fans.
This is the Dog Show with Troop and Smooch.
It's the Dog Show. It's the Dog Show.